Zenshuu. Zenshuu is a brand new anime series to come out of the winter 2025 season by Mappa Studios and is officially wrapped up as of March of Sunday of 2025. And I want to talk about the show because, again, given how much has happened within the past 5 years, I would say, it's safe to say that Mappa's reputation has been interesting to say the least. So again, Mappa Studios, no introduction to what they're known for at this point. They have known for coming out with some of the biggest, most talked about shows in recent memory, and for a good reason because they're the biggest, arguably one of the biggest animation studios on the Japanese sphere right as of right now. From, excuse me, from Chainsaw Man to Vinland Saga to the Attack on Titan seasons to Jujutsu Kaisen, the list goes on and on and on. So, of course, given the controversy surrounding Mappa Studios and how they treat their animators, how much they're getting paid, the amount of numerous stories from ex Mappa Studios workers that have come out in the wakes of all these great shows coming out, makes me want to check out Zenshuu for a particular reason. For the fact that, again, Zenshuu was one of those shows that kinda was borderline taking the whole, like, oh, taking the whole animator concept, but now let's try to give them an isekai flair to it. So as Zenshuu is all what is Zenshuu all about? It's about our main protagonist named Natsuko Hirose, who essentially is an animator. And throughout this whole career and her journey, she becomes this big, well-known animator that people talk about, that people adore and they love about. And one day, somehow collapses and dies from really bad food meal, you could say. She basically got food poisoning and supposedly died. And as a result, after she passes out and supposedly dies, she wakes up reincarnated into one of her works that she was working on, which was A Tale of Perishing. And throughout A Tale of Perishing, we get to meet all of Natsuko's like childhood heroes and protagonists that she has grown up and adored over the years. From Luke Braveheart to Memlin to QJ to Unio and to some underrated characters that come into the scene later on. And pretty much throughout this journey, we see that Natsuko has the ability to draw, to reshape things, to change things, so that the world that she is saving is a bright future one. Because at the end of the day, she's trying to prevent a horrible ending from happening because she knows how her movie comes to an end. And, throughout these 12 episodes, it's pretty much running that whole concept throughout the whole way up until the very end. And I think this is where I got to stop talking about the premise of the show and talk about how I feel about it, what do I think about it, because again, for me, I don't want to go really long tangent with this one because this show has kind of been in the back of my mind, so like what I feel about the show already at this point. Again, Zenshu is just one of those shows that for me is just another generic isekai anime that we've seen time and time again from other better successful isekai animes. And for me, given that this came out at such a weird timing, given how much Mappa Studios has been into some really weird controversies as of late, makes me a little uneasy as to giving it a really good review or even a bad review for that matter. Because again, while I do love the animation of the show, I do like the story. I think the soundtrack of the show is pretty good. It slaps really well, and I think that they do wrap up everything about this show really nice and really cool in a way within 12 episodes. I just can't seem to get out of that lingering effect that there's something up with Zenshu that has like some interesting niche, like behind the scenes stuff that may have happened. And given how controversial it's been with Mappa Studios, it's hard for me to really talk about this in a more positive manner than what I am now. And furthermore, it does remind me a little bit of like another show that came out last year with Isekai Shikaku, where it takes that same premise with the main character where he essentially dies from his last world, gets reincarnated to a different world, but now he's just trying to rewrite history per se, but in a different angle. And this show was really fun. It was hilarious. It was funny. But in the case of Zenshu, I'm not really getting much of that going on here. There's no pizzazz going to it. There's no fancy schmancy stuff that's really making me want to go back to rewatching the show because again, we've seen these type of shows come out multitude of times. And while yes, you can argue there are moments in the show that differ from other isekai shows that maybe go on this premise in this world, I just don't think it's doing it justice at the moment, especially given that again, this is a pretty bad timing to drop a show of this matter when you're kind of being accused of putting your animators to the hard labor that you're going through. But yeah, I mean, again, I think Zenshu is a decent watch if you're into this type of stuff where you like to see a girl who gets reincarnated and fights her way into the new isekai world and you're hoping to get that true happy ending, I guess, then this is for you. For me, this is an okay show. It's fine, which is why I would give it a light to decent six. It's a fine show, but it's just not. It's not calming by the mouth. It's not foaming me by the mouth to want to go back and watch it again because, again, there are a lot of things lacking in there from the lack of characters being in depth, from the world of A Tale of Perishing that I wish just expanded a little bit more, and overall, it just felt like every moment of the show either was a slow slog to go through, or it was the pacing was really fast and all over the place. So there just wasn't really again a balance of the show, and if they just balanced it, this would have been a really good hit of a show, in my opinion. But anyway, I just want to talk about Zenshu as always, and yeah, that's about it. I'll see you in the next one. Later.